James Cameron's highly anticipated upcoming sequel, Avatar 4, is set to feature a major time jump, reveals franchise producer Jon Landau. Producer Jon Landau recently revealed that Avatar 4 will feature a major time jump. 13 years after releasing the highest-grossing film of all time, director James Cameron returned to the popular science fiction franchise with Avatar: The Way of Water. Set a decade and a half after the Na'vi defeated the Resources Development Administration, RDA, in Avatar, the sequel saw Jake Sully, Worthington, and Neytiri, Zoe Saldana, fight to protect their family when Colonel Miles Quadrich, Stephen Lang, is resurrected with the sole purpose of eliminating Jake. Screen Rant recently attended a press event for Avatar: The Way of Water's home release, where Landau looked ahead to the franchise's future. When asked about development on Avatar 4, the producer confirmed that the first act has already been shot and the story necessitates a major time jump for the rest of the film. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll look at the Avatar movie, as there's been a new announcement regarding the fourth release of the movie. But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more similar content. Let's dive in. What does Avatar 4's time jump reveal? Avatar: The Way of Water concluded with Jake and his family pushing back Quardich and his men. However, the two adversaries both incurred devastating losses in the fight. Jake reaffirmed his loyalty to the seafaring Metkayina people, as well as recommitting himself to the war against the RDA. The sequel's ending sets up a high-octane, action-packed Avatar 3 that will find Quaritch conflicted by his son Spider's actions, yet more determined to take down a Jake burning with hatred stemming from the murder of his eldest son. With Avatar 3 and Act 1 of Avatar 4 already shot, it is likely the sequels will pick up directly after its predecessor with a narrative directly continuing what Avatar: The Way of Water started. However, Avatar 4's significant time jump may imply that either Avatar 3 or Act 1 of Avatar 4 will conclude on a major story beat with implications that will ripple throughout the saga. Although significant plot details have been kept under wraps, the gap in time will allow the Sully children to grow, perhaps in a time of relative peace. Avatar 3 is set to drastically expand the world of Pandora, including new biomes populated by at least 2 new Na'vi cultures. The time jump may also account for significant travel throughout the alien planet, with Jake's family possibly rallying the armies of faraway tribes to eradicate the RDA once and for all, as Jake attempted to do in Avatar. As Avatar 4 won't hit theaters until 2026, audiences will have to be patient to see why such a time jump is needed. Avatar 3 is set for release on December 20, 2024. Originally, the setup of releasing one Avatar movie every 2 years was designed to give the franchise room to breathe, though not 13 years this time around, while leaving Disney space to release new Star Wars movies. Since those plans were made, however, Star Wars' theatrical future has become a little murkier, but Disney still shouldn't have too much trouble finding something to replace Rogue Squadron if it's not ready in time. The supposed titles of the Avatar sequels were leaked by the BBC in 2018, based on documentation, and while Cameron didn't confirm any of the titles, he did say they were among those being considered, including The Way of Water for the second movie. With that in mind, the leaked title for Avatar 3 is The Seedbearer. This doesn't necessarily mean that this is exactly what the movie will be called, but considering that Cameron and his co-writers have already worked ahead on a few movies now, he likely has a great idea of what he'd like it titled. So far, the only things Cameron has alluded to on the record is that Avatar 3 will be about the Sully family, with a focus on the kids. Perhaps the easiest guess is that this movie will continue Jake's campaign against Quardich and the Sky People, and follow Kiri more closely after her superpowered third act in The Way of Water. Cameron's collaborators have told Polygon to expect even more underwater action. According to costume designer Deborah L. Scott, behind-the-scenes images of Kate Winslet underwater waving around a big white cape are actually from Avatar 3, while director of photography Russell Carpenters tells us that there was more underwater work done for the other movie. So if you thought Avatar: The Way of Water was wet, wait until Avatar 3. In further, somewhat confusing developments on the movie's plot, James Cameron told French publication 20 Minutes that the third movie will include evil fire Na'vi. Cameron says that this is because he wants to show the Na'vi from another angle, which presumably means to make some of them bad guys. Since then, producer Jon Landau has also announced that Una Chaplin, Game of Thrones, has been cast as Varang, the leader of these aggressive fire Na'vi who will be known as the Ash People. While certain characters, like Jake and Neytiri's eldest son, who was killed in battle, won't be around for the sequel, the newest Avatar 3 updates confirm the film will see Sam Worthington and Zoe Saldana return as Jake and Neytiri, respectively. Sigourney Weaver, Britzian Dalton, Trinity Jolie Bliss, who portrayed Jake and Neytiri's remaining children, Kiri, Loak, and Tuk, respectively, and Jack Champion as Spider, will also be in Avatar 3. They will be joined by Stephen Lang as Quaritch, Kate Winslet as Ronal, Cliff Curtis as Tonowari, and Bailey Bass as Rhea. The latter three portrayed members of the Metkiana in The Way of Water. Brendan Cowell, Jermaine Clement, and Eddie Falco are also expected to return. Reportedly, Cowell's Mick Scoresby didn't die in Avatar 2, despite what many thought, and will be back to reprise his villainous role in Avatar 3. Another villain to be added to the roster is Avatar's secondary antagonist, Parker Selfridge, played by Giovanni Ribisi. While he was only in Avatar 2 in a cameo capacity, Ribisi has signed on full-time for Avatar 3, and is expected to be a much larger presence. Finally, the fan favorite Tulkun Payakan has been confirmed to return for the next Avatar movie. Avatar 3 updates have also introduced a plethora of new characters. Una Chaplin was cast to play the character Varang, the leader of the Ash People, who will appear in the remaining 3 sequels. David Thewlis will also join the film, playing an unnamed Na'vi character who will be a big part of Avatar 3 and its sequels. Rounding out the new members of the cast is Michelle Yeoh, who was last seen in the hit multiverse film Everything Everywhere All at Once, who will play scientist Dr. Karina Moog in the third and subsequent Avatar films. While there's no Avatar 3 updates regarding the possible story, Avatar: The Way of Water's ending leaves a few storylines open for continuation. With Spider having rescued Colonel Quaritch from drowning, the film's antagonist will likely continue his quest for revenge on Jake in Avatar 3. Things could get worse before they get better, especially as Quaritch's rage will be at an all-time high following The Way of Water's final battle. Crucially, Spider saving his dad could create tension between him and his surrogate family if they find out what he did. The conflict between the Na'vi and the RDA will surely escalate, and it's possible the RDA will come better prepared in Avatar 3, which could pose an even bigger threat for Jake's family. While Quaritch's main quarrel is with Jake, the RDA is looking to expand in Pandora and make it livable for more humans. Their colonization will devastate the planet's native population and their land, which will likely create even more discord and animosity between the Na'vi, who have always fought to protect their people and their homeland. Avatar 3 could further expand on this growing tension and its effect on Pandora's population. There were glimpses of this in The Way of Water, with Captain Scoresby hunting the Tulkun despite what they meant to the Metkiana, and Avatar 3 could delve deeper, especially with Scoresby back in action and out for blood. It's also been revealed that Loak will take over as narrator for Avatar 3, replacing Jake, and Varang represents a Na'vi villain. It's unknown what part villain Parker Selfridge will play in all of this, but the antagonistic force will likely be in line with the RDA. That was all from us today, folks. See you in the next one.